10 fun ways for a child with a disability to acquire listening and speaking skills. Sometimes children with disabilities take their time to read and write, but that does not mean that they don't continue to build their knowledge. Therefore, listening for children who can hear and who can speak, these children must get exposure to continue to build their vocabulary, that is what we talk about, their word knowledge, and their world knowledge, that is general knowledge, just by listening and speaking, because the knowledge is continuing to get built. It may not be in an expressive form in terms of writing or something, but definitely we can build oral language skills. So let's play KBC. Kaun banega correct? The question is, at what age does a child begin the process of reading? A, at age 3, when they go to nursery school and begin learning letters. B, when they are born and they start listening to the language. C, at age 5, when they start learning 3-letter words. Or D, at age 6, when they begin to learn simple books, to read simple books. So the Sahi Jawab is B, because without listening and understanding the language, one cannot be an efficient reader. One may read the words but may not understand the language. And understanding comes from listening skills. Listening comes with exposure to the language. Vara vera pu. I am sure many of you can read this word, but only those who know Tamil will be able to understand the word. To understand a language, there is a process we follow. There are 4 steps to understanding a language. The first step is listening skills. The second is speaking skills. The third is reading, and the fourth is writing. If we change the order of building the skills and we pay too much attention to reading and writing and less focus on listening and speaking, it will be like making a building with a weak foundation. Let's talk about the importance of fun and play. We've learned best when we've enjoyed ourselves, and we can try to do the same with our children. Here are 4 things that we should definitely be doing. Teach them without knowing that we are teaching. Follow their lead. Teach them through activities of their choice. Take turns. It should not be that you are always asking the questions. Allow the child to answer too. Teach, but don't keep testing to see if the child has learnt. 5 fun ways to build listening skills. The first one is building vocabulary. Some of the general tips are modeling. Modeling is whatever a child hears, the child will speak. So be a good speech model. When you read stories to a child, read with expression so the child absorbs and imbibes the way you speak. The second strategy is expansion. Use adjectives and adverbs to enrich the sentences. For example, you can say the chips are hot. The chips are hot and crisp. The chips are hot, crisp and salty. The third thing you can do is exposure. Exposure is critical. The more exposure to language a child gets, which could be done through field trips or anything outdoors or even indoors, will build the child's general knowledge or world knowledge. For example, if you take a field trip to a movie theatre, you can build a child's vocabulary by using all words related to a theatre. For example, tickets, movie, entertainment, usher, row, etc. The second strategy is using pictures. Take a few pictures or photographs from newspapers, magazines, or your personal photographs and write statements or say statements that could be related to the pictures. For example, you can have a picture of a person holding a cricket bat. You can have a picture of a person writing. You can have a picture of a person looking at a soap, and you can then read out 1 or 2 statements and ask the child to tell you which statement relates to which picture. For example, you can say the statement, I am practicing for the World Cup. and then ask the child to point to the picture that is related to this statement. Each picture can have several statements related to them. The third strategy is whistle for the animals. This is checking the listening comprehension of the child. You have to say names of objects and intersperse it with names of animals, and the child has to whistle every time he hears the name of an animal. For example, you have to say words like 10, desk, rabbit, tiger, paper, stool, camera, lion, buffalo, hare, brush, toothbrush, dog. As the children hear these words, they have to blow the whistle every time they hear the name of an animal. The fourth strategy is I Spy. I Spy is when you ask a child to look around their environment and try to identify objects that begin with a certain sound. You can give an example, you can model this for the child, where you say, and you begin your sentence by saying, I spy something that begins with the sound D. So the child may look around and find maybe a door, or there could be a desk in the room. The fifth strategy is place the toy. You have to present a tray of toys and a chart with letter names to the child. The child has to place the toy on the corresponding letter its name begins with. For instance, the alligator is placed on A. The monkey will be placed on the letter M. 5 fun ways to encourage speaking skills. The first one is choices. Allow the child to make a choice. Instead of asking open-ended questions, you can give them a couple of word choices. For example, when they are having their breakfast, instead of saying, what would you like for breakfast? You can give them a choice like, would you like to have idli or cheese toast for breakfast today? The second strategy is forgetting. While you're talking to the child, you can pretend to forget the word. For example, you could say, please put on your shoes and I went to the store and I picked up that green vegetable for you, that green long one with the slimy seeds in it. I forget what it's called. So, when you forget and that you expect the child to fill in the word, sometimes the child may not get it, but you can always give the child a prompt like, let's put on your shoes and you can even give a prompt with the first sound and the child may say the word. The third strategy is categories. We can ask the child to name objects that belong to a particular category. For example, name 7 members of the fruit club, or it could be name 5 things that run on electricity. It could be about games, tell us about 2 games that we need music for, like passing the parcel or musical chairs. We can also do something quick with the child where you say, tell me something that is red, something that's soft, something that's sticky, or maybe something that's red and sticky, or something that's soft and bumpy. The fourth strategy is unplanned conversations. It's not necessary to always use planned strategies with a child. Sometimes when you have unplanned conversations, they actually turn out to be more engaging. When you're doing a strategy or you're asking a question, a child will answer the question that you have asked. It could be answered in a word, in a few words, or maybe in a sentence. But when you're having unplanned conversations, the child lands up speaking and listening a lot more. So do encourage these conversations, just maybe when you're traveling, you're running an errand, you're doing a science experiment with a child, maybe an art and craft activity. These are more fun with regard to listening and speaking skills. The fifth strategy is describing. You can take pictures, large pictures, individual items, photographs, maybe some pictures in a newspaper, or items that a child, or topics that a child enjoys, like a sport activity or something. and talk about those pictures. Ask the child to describe them in detail. It could be a picture of a clown or a picture of a football player. You could ask the child to describe the clothes that the player is wearing, maybe a shirt with blue and white stripes or something like that. Maybe what number is written behind the player's shirt. You can just have a general conversation in descriptions. And you can even talk about not just the picture, but you can talk about, say, what's happening, what do you think may have happened before you saw this picture, what do you think happened after this picture. If you found this video helpful, do like it and subscribe to our channel.